talk about what just went down at Martin Richardson's political fundraiser because I am still picking my jaw up off the floor. Let's be real for a second. We all knew that bringing the heavy hitters from Genoa City over to Fairmont Crest was going to cause some major shockwaves, but I don't think anyone was prepared for the sheer level of audacity we witnessed from Leslie Thomas. The woman is a walking, talking tornado, and ironically enough, she managed to cause more emotional destruction inside the country club than the actual literal tornado that was touching down outside. The scene we got between Anita Dupree, Devon Hamilton, and Leslie Thomas was an absolute masterclass in soap opera tension. And we need to break down every single psychological layer of this incredible confrontation. To set the stage properly, we have to look at the atmosphere of this highly anticipated crossover event. The room is filled with the absolute elite. You have the Abbotts, the Newmans, and the Duprees all mingling, sipping champagne, and discussing high-stakes politics and business. In the midst of all this glamorous chaos, we get this beautiful, poignant moment between Anita Dupree and Devon Hamilton. Devon, being the savvy music mogul and billionaire businessman that he is, clearly recognizes the legendary status of Anita and the Articulettes. He approaches her with a genuine, lucrative, music-related business proposition. It is a moment of pure respect. Devon isn't just throwing money around. He is looking to honor a musical legacy. But this is where the conversation takes a deeply emotional and heartbreaking turn, and it completely shifted my perspective on Anita's current storyline. Anita, showing that incredible vulnerability and strength that we have all come to love her for, has to pause Devon's enthusiasm. She looks this powerful man in the eye and admits that she simply cannot promise him anything right now. Why? Because the reality of her health crisis is still looming over her like a dark cloud. She confesses to Devon that her triple-negative breast cancer tumor has not yet been removed. Just pause and think about the emotional weight of that admission. Here is a woman who has built an empire, who carries the prestige of the Dupree name, having to put a multi-million-dollar legacy project on hold because she is literally fighting for her life. It is raw, it is real, and it is absolutely devastating. You can see the empathy in Devon's eyes. He gets it. He understands that family and health come before any contract. It's a beautiful moment of human connection between two legacy characters. But of course, we can't have nice things in Fairmont Crest, can we? Enter Leslie Thomas. You have got to be kidding me with this woman. She sneaks into a highly exclusive event that she was explicitly banned from, wearing a hooded cape no less, and starts prowling the room like a vulture looking for fresh prey. And who does she lock her sights on? Anita Dupree, in her most vulnerable moment. The sheer unadulterated nerve of Leslie to walk up to that conversation and physically insert herself between Anita and Devon is something that only a true narcissist is capable of doing. She doesn't read the room. She doesn't care about the heavy emotional conversation she is interrupting. All Leslie sees is a Genoa City billionaire and a chance to line her own pocket. The moment Leslie opens her mouth and introduces herself, she drops a massive bombshell that leaves Devon completely stunned. She proudly announces herself as Barbara's daughter. You could practically see the shockwave hit Devon's face. Devon Hamilton knows the music industry inside and out. He knows the history of the Articulettes and the legacy of Barbara. But to suddenly be confronted by this chaotic, deeply inappropriate woman claiming to be the heir to that legacy, it is mind-blowing for him. Devon is a man who deals with the likes of Victor Newman and Tucker McCall on a daily basis. He knows a hustler when he sees one. And let me tell you, his internal alarm bells were absolutely screaming the second Leslie started talking. Leslie, completely oblivious to the fact that she is radiating desperate energy, immediately launches into her pitch. She completely cuts off Anita's deeply personal story about her cancer battle to center the conversation around herself. She looks at Devon and proposes a joint partnership agreement, claiming that she wants to represent her mother Barbara's interests and honor her legacy. Wow. Just wow. The manipulation here is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Leslie doesn't care about honoring Barbara. We all know that. Anita knows that. And frankly, Devon figured it out in about 5 seconds. Leslie using her deceased mother's name as a Trojan horse to infiltrate a massive business deal is arguably one of the lowest things she has ever done. But here is the kicker, and this is where we have to deeply analyze Leslie's true motives. Why is she suddenly so desperate to represent the Articulettes? It is not about music, and it is certainly not about family pride. It is about cold, hard cash and systemic power. Leslie's ultimate goal is to gain access to the financial system of the Articulettes. She wants her hands on the royalties, the production funds, the entire economic engine of that musical group. If Leslie can secure a proxy from Devon Hamilton, she essentially gets a blank check. And what does Leslie do with money? She weaponizes it. We just saw her drop $100,000 at Mona's church just to buy influence and stroke her own ego. If she gets her hands on the music production profits, she is going to use every single red cent to fund her obsessive vendetta against the Dupree family. She wants to buy Fairmont Crest, and she wants to destroy Anita in the process. It is diabolical. Now, let's talk about how Devon handles this, because it is brilliant. Some fans might think Devon was being too soft here, but I strongly disagree. I think Devon played this beautifully. He doesn't cause a scene, he doesn't yell at her, and he doesn't embarrass her in front of the press that is swarming the country club. Instead, he uses his classic Genoa City boardroom diplomacy. He politely agrees that he will contact Leslie in the future if they have a music project. But notice the massive glaring condition he attaches to that statement. He says he will reach out when Anita is ready. Boom. Devon completely strips Leslie of her power and hands the reins right back to Anita. He essentially tells Leslie, I hear you, but Anita is the boss and nothing moves until she says so. It is a spectacular brush-off wrapped in polite billionaire charm. And yet, Leslie's delusion is so incredibly profound that she actually walks away from that interaction thinking she won. Can you believe it? She genuinely believes that she has secured a proxy from Devon Hamilton. She thinks her little speech about honoring Barbara actually worked. This is the tragic flaw of Leslie Thomas. Her ego completely blinds her to reality. She doesn't realize that Devon Hamilton wouldn't trust her to run a lemonade stand, let alone a multi-million-dollar music legacy. Devon knows exactly what kind of person he is dealing with. He sees a woman who is rude, impolite, and lacking any semblance of business etiquette. You do not interrupt a billionaire while he is speaking to a respected colleague, and you certainly don't try to hijack a deal in the middle of a crowded party. Devon's polite smile was nothing more than a dismissal, but Leslie is entirely too self-absorbed to see it. This entire sequence perfectly highlights exactly why Anita Dupree always wins against Leslie and why she will continue to win. It all comes down to prestige and credibility. Anita doesn't have to scheme, she doesn't have to crash parties in hooded capes, and she doesn't have to use people's names for clout. Anita simply exists in her truth. Even while battling a triple negative tumor, facing the terrifying prospect of surgery, and dealing with the physical toll of chemotherapy, Anita maintains a level of class and dignity that Leslie could not achieve in 100 lifetimes. Devon respects Anita because she is honest. She told him the hard truth about her health instead of making empty business promises. That kind of integrity is priceless in the business world, and it is the ultimate shield against Leslie's sabotage. But we can't ignore the very real threat that Leslie still poses. Just because Devon brushed her off doesn't mean she is going to stop. Leslie is like a dog with a bone. If she thinks there is money to be made from the Articulettes, she is going to start digging. I wouldn't be surprised if her next move involves trying to forge documents, manipulating other stakeholders, or even launching a public smear campaign claiming that Anita is too sick to manage the group's legacy. Leslie is desperate to legitimize herself, and she sees this music deal as her golden ticket. The danger here isn't just financial, it is deeply personal. By trying to co-opt Barbara's legacy, Leslie is actively trying to rewrite history to make herself the hero while painting Anita as the villain holding the music back. I am incredibly anxious to see how Devon Hamilton follows up on this. Will he return to Genoa City and have his legal team look into Leslie's claims? Will he warn Victor Newman about the absolute loose cannon running around Fairmont Crest? I personally think Devon and Anita are going to form a quiet alliance. Once Anita's tumor is successfully removed and she is back to full strength, I predict we are going to see her and Devon lay a massive corporate trap for Leslie. They're going to let Leslie think she is getting access to the financial system, only to pull the rug out from under her in a spectacularly public way. This storyline is giving us everything we want from a soap opera crossover. We have high-stakes business, deep emotional resonance with Anita's cancer battle, and a villain who is so deliciously unhinged that you can't take your eyes off her. Leslie Thomas is playing with fire by trying to hustle Devon Hamilton, and I cannot wait to see her get burned. What do you guys think? Do you think Leslie will actually manage to steal some of the Articulette's funds? Or do you think Devon is already 10 steps ahead of her? Let me know your theories down in the comments, because this is about to get so much crazier.